Hello, welcome to Lilith Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Adama, and I'm here to talk to you about the Jupiter Saturn conjunction in Aquarius that is happening on December 21st. So, I wanted to do this as a gift video and essentially this is for free for everyone. This is normally something I would do just for members, but I think this is such an important transit, and so I was like, I think I need to divulge more of the tea of what's going down. And so, don't forget, if you're a newcomer and you don't subscribe to the channel, you love this video, please subscribe. Click the bell when you subscribe, because then you get notified when I go live. We do great lives every Monday at 8 p.m. And I'm going into the charts every single week on what's ahead. And there's so much other great astrological content on this channel. So definitely, subscribe, click the bell, hit that like button. That definitely helps support the channel and, helps keep us going if you love what you see. So let's just dive into it. So this is a time of transition. This is a time of complete overhaul in terms of the collective, in terms of our own individual lives, in terms of the world and how society is run. There's just more of a lifting of the veil, I think, especially through the Neptune retrograde we had earlier this year. People are really seeing what things are, and you can really see that. We had a lot of unrest over this past year within our country in the United States, and even globally. If you guys who aren't here, there's other things that are going on globally. So it's just such a pivotal time. And essentially people are becoming more awake to the systems that are put in place that are truly not working for the people. So essentially, Jupiter and Saturn are coming together in the sky. They are forming a conjunction on December 21st. And this is a major event because it is the end of a 400-year cycle. And we are also on the cusp and shifting into the Aquarian Age and something of a more enlightened consciousness than where we have been for the past 2100 years. In Western astrology, we have the shifting of the ages, essentially, and that's called precession of the equinoxes. And basically that is the vernal point shifts into a new age. And right now it's in Pisces, and this point actually moves backwards. So that it's not like, December 21st, age is here, we're flying around in ships, and, telekinesis and, astrology is, even more widely accepted. That's not going to happen overnight. Like, it's not going to be some like crazy thing overnight. This is just the pop of that energy and snapping us into the air dynasty is what I like to call it. But essentially we've been in groupings of conjunctions with earth signs. And so now we are coming out of that and shifting more into air, and air is about thought. And air is cerebral, air is light. You notice a lot of really intense stuff to the earth especially happen, and just like pollution and things like that. And now so many people speak out about all of these things, pollution and climate change and solar energy, taking a different approach to, more universal healthcare system. That's a very Aquarian thing. So it's not just like, we're going to be like zipping around in spaceships. It's just basically we're going into something more enlightened. And it's not like, that song Dawn of the Age of Aquarius, we're all going to run around on a hill holding hands. It's just going to become more of an enlightened perspective that people hold. And you can really see that all year long, especially with a lot of people getting reactivated, activated in terms of society, and their social perspective as a whole. So, and I know me, I mean, I've always been this way. Like I've always been, I guess I'll call myself an intersectional feminist, but I've always been this way. This is like nothing new. I think it's because of, the family that I grew up in. The mom, the woman was chief. So I just always, that's just how I grew up. And so a lot of people, though, may not have been as privy to certain things, especially if you are not Black and you've never been that experienced. And now people are seeing more things. So definitely the lifting back this year, and just a lot of intense events happening. I think y'all were here. That's the benefit of talking about what has conspired, because y'all were here. So I don't need to tell you twice about what's happened to you this year. And the focus of this video is I really want to tell you what's coming for the future. And so that's for the collective, like that complete shift in terms of all the things that I had mentioned. Even our money system, a complete shift and overhaul. Our healthcare system, medical system, the system that cares for the population. Things like having systemic racism, all of those things have to be uprooted. And that's what going into this next year is about. And so it's going to be challenging. Like there's going to have to be, we're going to have to speak out. We're going to have to protest or do anything or do more for other people, volunteering in the community. Like this next year, a lot is going to happen that pushes people out of their comfort zone and makes them want to reach for more. Another thing, some more on the spiritual side, is essentially this is going to be a huge year for manifestation. And I've noticed for myself, for those that are members, if you're following me and you are, that's the thing about becoming a member. Let me just segue on that for a second. So I talk about so much on my membership network. It's kind of like my Patreon. I like to do it my way, so I don't have it on Patreon, but I talk way deeper if you click the links below and check out memberships. And it's fantastic. And I'm teaching all of this stuff every month in depth, and it's a journey. So you just hop in and join. But anyway, segueing from that. So in your own respective lives, this is like where you're going to experience revolution and change in your own life. It doesn't have to be like we're going to run around with like muskets back in the Revolutionary War. A revolution means a change, a huge change. I would say even this year, in terms of COVID was a revolution. It's all mental. It's all spiritual. It's all vibrational. And that's the challenge with going into the next year is it's such a potent time for manifestation. Like it's going to be like you think it and can manifest it, which it already normally is now. But when you've gone through this year and you've kind of done your own shadow work and made peace with certain things, you end up vibrating higher. So then that it allows you to manifest at a much faster rate. So that's the woo-woo segue, and then also my rant about memberships. But that's essentially what it is. And I think that I'm excited. I think all of us should be excited about, getting some movement, being able to experience change and just kind of sit with it and be, and, let the chips fall where they may and navigate what's ahead. I definitely also, I did mention the economic forecast, but I definitely think that there are going to be some challenges economically at the beginning of the year. And I actually talk in depth with my members about that. I'm not posting that publicly because I go very deep into the economy, but we're going to face some challenges. And, Uranus and Taurus, as we get into January, Uranus is going to go direct. Mars is going to go into Taurus, and they're going to be squaring Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. Those are some heavy hitters, like going at it, and Mars is a trigger. So that's my piece on that. But, that's what I think we're also going into the first half of the year. But I think that is what's going to really inspire change, because people are going to be like, what the hell? Like, how are they supposed to live? Like, they need to change and overhaul things. So that's what's up. And that's really, I mean, the thing is with the spiritual side of it, this is an opportunity for you to, level up, essentially level up your mindset and use spiritual warfare tactics that, regardless of what's going on, start to stay in what is comfortable for you and what makes you feel good, because essentially that's boosting your vibration. I can't tell you, like, if you've been following me, with my hand, like, my hand was, I like injured my hand extremely badly. I had to get surgery and everything. And I've just been talking to it positively and just embodying that healing. I've done a couple like healing rituals, but it's been healing really fast. So just it's not ignoring what's going on. It's just essentially observing it and then bringing it back inward to look at it. That's shadow work, essentially. I can't tell you how much shadow work I've personally done this year, that it's like, when we were busy running around and before COVID hit, especially me, like, I'm a Venus Sagittarius. I love to go, 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 go. I love to, travel, go places, all this stuff, which I still do, but I didn't have enough time to sit and deal with certain things. And when COVID hit, this allowed me to do that. And my recommendation for you guys, as we go into, the winter, we're still going to be dealing with this for a little bit more, but, take that time, like, look at it as an opportunity, and look at any changes that come up in the future for you as, oh, this is an opportunity to change and an opportunity to shift what I'm doing and who I am. So that is the general transit. Jupiter represents abundance and growth and luck. And Saturn represents limitations, structure. Saturn is in his home sign. That's the ancient ruler of Aquarius. And Jupiter's okay. Jupiter's in an air sign. And it's a diurnal planet, so this is a daytime planet. Air sign is good for Jupiter. So, we had a preview also of Saturn and Aquarius from March until July of earlier this year. And so that was when we were in the thick of, everything and the social distancing. Now we have Jupiter in the mix. That's expanding it even more. So that's what I'm saying, where it's like, we're going to still be dealing with, I don't want to say the name because they always put the label underneath it. We're going to be dealing with the thing, for some time. And I think the thing is also going to have some financial implications because of that square. Because we have Jupiter expanding all that Saturnian energy in Aquarius. And then that's going to be squaring Uranus, who's like the change maker. The thing is, though, Uranus is not going direct till January. So the 21st will have the energy going, but then it's really going to amplify as we get into January. Another thing that's a really interesting prediction of mine is, so I keep my eye on Facebook and just Google like these basic like internet monopolies, essentially. And I noticed when Saturn dipped into Aquarius earlier in the year, they had Mark Zuckerberg in court and stuff. So now I literally saw in the news that he is back, they're trying to get him again. And I definitely think, because this is also the Saturn return of the internet. Saturn was in Aquarius when the internet in the early 90s. So Saturn's coming back around. Saturn's like, oh, what shit have you been doing, Mark? It's like, you can't do that. Like, there's taking a lot of data. They're censoring. They're doing a lot of stuff. So, and then farming it out and all that stuff. So, and then we all are on it, and this is how we connect. So I think it might be, I don't know if it's a game over for Facebook, but they're going to have to do a lot of defending of themselves. Same with like Google. So that's really interesting as well. All right, guys. So let's get into what each of the signs can expect. So Aries, this is in your 11th house of groups, your friendships. These are acquaintances, your network. This is also your peers. This can represent just collectives of people, social networks, social media. This is, if you have your sun in this, if you have your moon in this house, you're very humanitarian. So this is a very, like if you're Aries sun, Aries rising, Aquarius moon, you just feel for the collective. And it's like somebody like Oprah who, gives, like, she's a mother for the collective. She doesn't have kids of her own. She's like, she's my mother. She's your mother. She's all of our mothers, right? So that's Aquarian 11th house energy. And so you're having that huge conjunction there. And so you really can find that you start to attract different types of people who are just influential in your life. You could start working in tech, or you could, even if you say you are developing a good idea, like you could suddenly have an epiphany and just develop something that a lot of people like starting a social media influencer platform type of situation, or if you wanted to work in tech, that could be something, something that happens to you. And you can also just attract different types of people. You can also, your hopes and your dreams are also in this house as well too. So you could just have a sudden epiphany that, like, you know what, maybe I need to be the singer that I wanted to be, but I took a detour and did something else. Or maybe I should, go volunteer. You change your vision for the future and go in just a completely different direction than what you're going in. If you have say if you're getting married, this is also the house of like stepchildren or children that aren't biologically yours, but you can take responsibility for them. Some of you may experience that in your life as well too. So that's you, Aries. And I also don't want to forget, pay attention to your sun, moon, and rising sign. Your rising sign will be the most accurate because that's what I'm going by with the houses. But watch all three, because that'll give you more of a hint into the month. All right, so Taurus, your 10th house of career. So yes, that means your profession, your life path, what you do for a living, what how the public views you. You can definitely have some major career shifts from this conjunction, and this can just represent something just so different, and something that maybe along the lines of humanitarianism, or something that's tech related, or just in general, your career just expands and you get a more prominent role or more prominent position where you work. You're offered something suddenly new. We have Uranus there, but Jupiter's there. So this is like a big, this is like a big pop in your career life. So I think that's really exciting, right? So Gemini, your 9th house of higher learning, long distance travel. We're going to do that for a little bit, right? Your broader vision, wisdom, spiritual teacher, teaching, education, going to get higher education and higher learning is also within this house. And so some of you could decide to go back to school for a degree. You could start to become more influential in your field. Like maybe it's starting a YouTube channel, or starting an Instagram page, or starting to write and amplify your voice in the world, amplify yourself and your presence in the world. You could start teaching. That's another possibility, is you could start, you could become a professor, or someone who, you could start an online school. Say some of you, if you work in the healing profession, or if you're, work in astrology or tarot, you could start to teach others and share your knowledge with others. This is the house of the guru. So that is really what is getting, trigger for you, is, you can totally have that higher level perspective. And yeah. So on to Cancer. And Cancer rising. So what's up, fellow moon children? But for us, this is our 8th house of change. And this is finances, other people's money. This is inheritances. This is taxes. This is debt. This is like if you get financed, or if you get investors from some place, if you get money out of a divorce settlement, sharing of money within a marriage, transition, change, death is here as well too. You're not going to die, but the death of things for something better to be reborn. And we have Jupiter here. Like I said at the beginning, Jupiter represents luck and abundance. We have Jupiter here, so this is an abundance of something solid financially coming in for you. I think that usually when Saturn goes into the 8th house, one's career can solidify, blossom a bit more, and become more stable and offer something stable financially. But then you have Jupiter there, so that's expanded in a positive way. So great stuff for you, Cancer rising. Whoop, whoop. Leo. So Leos, this is happening in your 7th house of relationships. Relationships, both personal love and business. Any way that you are intertwined, or I guess like entangled with somebody. So, when you are in a business partnership, or if you've worked for or with someone for a long time, you develop that, you're tethered, you develop that relationship. And so this is the area that can describe the challenges that you may have, or triumphs that you may have in relationships. And for you, this is a huge time of shift in your relationships. You could you can meet someone new, and like, you can meet someone new. You could I just feel so cheesy when I'm like, oh, you meet someone new, because it's like Jupiter and Saturn, so it's not just like you're gonna meet like some dude or chick. It's like you're gonna meet the dude or the chick. So, some of us, this is, general, it's not specific to your chart, but this also could be a new business partnership that is very lucrative, something that changes and challenges your professional growth. And, you could meet someone that truly offers a great perspective that boosts your business or boosts what you're doing, or you start working for an employer that's really lucrative, and you make a lot of money and become more abundant. And then same with relationships, someone could come in that is, it's more of a serious relationship, and you can experience change. Some of you if you are in a serious relationship, you could experience change the other way around, where you then become free to pursue something else that is more of a fit for you. So, okay. So Virgo. So you have Aquarius in your 6th house of work, duty, health, routine. This is like the digestive system. This is just like, it can be like labor. This is like work. Like, when you say you're an essential worker. This is sixth house related work. Or even, if you work at a desk or you work from home, that's still sixth house, the actual work that you have to do. It's different than career, and this is service as well too. So for you, your schedule can completely shift and change. I mean, it already has. And your workload and type of work that you're doing completely revolutionizes and changes. Like perhaps you decide to independently go out on your own, or the company you work for completely overhauls and changes certain things that completely shifts your dynamic and how you are on your day-to-day basis. Some of you also with health, certain things could come about that are like, you need to start taking care of yourself, start eating healthier, or moving more, or taking time out to meditate. That is also health related, taking time out for emotional release. That's all sixth house stuff. And so this also can be a time of where you decide to improve upon your situation and become healthier and more in alignment with yourself in your physical body. So Libra, so this is in your fifth house of creativity, romance, love, self-expression. Gambling is here, fun is here. So your fifth house is getting, a little switcheroo. So, you could start to meet someone who's romantic and adventurous and fun. And that could really change, your romantic life in your world. It may be something transformative, but it may not be forever. Fifth house is like fun romance. It's not when you get down to the relationship nitty gritty. Another thing too is you could bring fun back into your current relationship and where you are. Another thing too, fifth house is also investments. And so some investments in the sense of like the stock market, or gambling is here as well too. And essentially like you could win some money, or, depends on your chart, like that, everybody. Or you could, find a really great investment, or make money off of an investment that you've had for some time, or invest in something that could in the future be profitable for you. But this is a good one too. I'm enjoying good horoscopes right now, people. So Scorpio, fourth house of home. So some of you could move. Some of you could decide that where you are living, where you've always called home, is just not working for you anymore, and you have to move out. Maybe if you're in your family's home, or you're living with someone, if you're living with roommates, you could completely decide to overhaul and change that situation. And moving isn't too bad. Another thing too is it'll be for the better. It'll be more of a fit to your lifestyle and what you need. And it'll help promote growth in you as a person. And also, so you have like the fourth house of, fourth, say that 5 times twice, fourth house of home. So you have the fourth house of home, but also your fourth house is your emotional center. So some of you could also experience certain shifts internally and emotionally, maybe make peace with some inner child things and issues that maybe you hadn't made peace with before, but now even root chakra issues, now you feel like you can resolve them and move forward in a lighter way, and not feel so weighed down by those things emotionally. Some of you, it can also do with the father and the father's side of the family. Like there may be changes on that side of the families, new additions and things like that. Some say it's the mother, but whenever I do my readings, it's so accurate with fourth house being the father and 10th house being the mother. I'm a purist with it so far. It's usually the most accurate. So Sagittarius, your third house of communication. So this is how you talk to people, how you converse with people every day. This is how you, if you work in the communications field, or, you know, if you do social media for a living, or you do something that is involving communication, you can have a change or growth there. Something like starting a podcast or starting a YouTube channel. You just completely revolutionize and change how you communicate out your message or your truth to the world. And this can also be just being, I mean, you already probably are outspoken. So I've never really met a shy Sag rising for good reason. You know, you're mutable fire. But there can be change. You could become more yourself and speak your truth more and amplify your voice more than you may have in the past. And sometimes too, we can go through situations where we learn certain communication lessons or skills, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said it this way, which in the grand scheme of things, I'm all for speaking your truth. But I mean, this is the chart, but now I think this will help you grow through those experiences. Jupiter is also about growth through experience. And so I think also, you know, you could just improve upon your voice and shift it and change it. Another thing too is the third house is siblings. So, you know, maybe your sibling, you could have a child, or your sibling could get married, or your sibling could, a life change could happen with one of your siblings. So that is another area that the third house covers. All right, so Capricorn. So for you, this is your second house of earned income. So this is your material wealth, your material gains, money. This is the money that you make from the work that you do. And it's also closely tied to your self-worth. So, you know, as I teach, you know, as within, so without. If you don't think you're worth it, that's what's going to manifest in your outer reality. So this is happening in your self-worth. So I think you really are going to experience some growth and release any traumas you've had around money, any self-worth issues you may have had surrounding money. That this is the moment that will shift and change that for you. And I think that, you know, something you may have been working on for a long time, you've had all those, you know, you had all those planets in your first house. You had Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter and shit, just, you know, going to bat in your first house of identity and who you are. So now from all of those changes that you've gone through, you're going into a shift naturally because you've gone through so much change as a person. So when you change as a person and you become more sure of yourself, your self-worth increases, and you'll be more likely to go after something that you're passionate about and be successful at it because your vibration's high. So definitely could see, you know, some change in how you earn your money, what type of work that you do to earn your money, and how much of it that you earn. And with Jupiter there, I definitely think it'll be more than where you're at now. And Aquarius, this is happening in your sign, you guys. So this is major. For all Aquarians, sun, moon, rising, you're going to have Jupiter and Saturn on your sun or your moon or your rising. And especially for, you know, rising and sun, this is happening in your identity and who you are. And if you see your sun, look at what house. Don't forget to watch your rising sign video. But that's really where it's happening for you. And this is your identity, who you are. I think Aquarius specifically, they're known as the weirdos of the zodiac. But the thing is they're just misunderstood because they're just so original and unique. They're just so far ahead that we haven't even caught up yet. And so they may feel like, oh, I feel weird and nobody gets me. But now, especially as we're rumbling into that Aquarian energy, you will feel more accepted and more in alignment. And you will also be apt to do things that are more in alignment and more like yourself, instead of worrying about what other people think and feeling ashamed of your amazing Aquarian energy. All right, so Pisces, last but not least, this is happening in your 12th house of private affairs, what's hidden, what's in the subconscious, what you cannot see, what you can't experience, things that are missing, and private affairs, those things too. But that's what this is happening. But it's also your subconscious mind. This is also spiritual. So this is a very spiritual placement for you. I think a lot of you can realize the value of your subconscious mind and recognizing your intuition more, tapping into your beliefs and your vision on the world. Also practicing more, I hate to say self-care, but because this is the 12th house to me is like your spiritual body. It's what you can't see. And it's playing with that energy of the 6th house of this is like reality, it's the work that we do. And in order to show up fully for your 6th house duties, for your daily life and your schedule and the things you have to do, you have to be able to you should take care of yourself so that you can actually physically do it. And so that's where this is happening for you. So it's not a shift that anyone else can see. This is something that is private to you as well. Another thing too is you may begin working on something extremely, revolutionary and new and creative in private. And then once the transits start to move, you release it to the world. This actually has happened to Aquarius as well. Aquarius experienced this because they had all those Capricorn clusters in their 12th house. And so now they're integrating all of that change and like being able to come through and be themselves. So this is definitely a private change for you. And this also can signal shifts in like your health. So, being sure to practice, doing breath work, doing meditation, staying healthy emotionally in order to, not manifest and stress yourself out. Because, we're still going to be dealing with, for some time, and all of us. And so this is not just for Pisces, but all of us need to practice taking care of ourselves, taking breaks from things like news, taking breaks from, stressing. Don't stress yourself, taking breaks from working, moving your body, honoring what your body needs, eating as healthy as you can. I'm like, trust me, I love to indulge in some things sometimes, but generally those are some things that can kind of help you obviously boost your immunity, but just keep you going and your vibration high through the rest of this. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you love these horoscopes. And if you love these horoscopes, check out the links below. I do ones like these every month for members only, and you can check that out below. And if you love this message as well and want to donate, drop if you click the donate link below. And yes, I really had a lot of fun doing this video for you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.